In the early hours of July 11th, 2015, one of the most powerful criminals in the world vanished from a maximum security prison. He did not overpower guards. He did not climb a wall. He did not stage a violent breakout. Instead, he simply disappeared. The man was Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, the leader of the Sinaloa cartel and one of the most wanted criminals on earth. His escape would shock the Mexican government, embarrass prison authorities, and reveal a level of planning so sophisticated that many people still struggle to believe it actually happened. This is the story of how El Chapo escaped. To understand the escape, we first need to understand who El Chapo was. Born into poverty in rural Mexico, Guzman rose through the ranks of the drug trade and eventually became the leader of the Sinaloa cartel, one of the most powerful criminal organizations in the world. Under his leadership, enormous quantities of narcotics were smuggled into multiple countries, generating billions of dollars in revenue. For years, authorities attempted to capture him. He became known not only for his influence and wealth, but also for his ability to evade law enforcement. Despite repeated efforts to arrest him, he managed to remain free for long periods of time. Eventually, however, Mexican authorities succeeded in capturing him. After being arrested, El Chapo was sent to Altiplano Federal Prison, one of Mexico's most secure correctional facilities. The prison was specifically designed to hold high-risk inmates and was considered extremely difficult to escape from. Security measures were extensive. Surveillance cameras monitored prisoners constantly. Guards were heavily armed. Movement was restricted. Officials believed the prison was secure enough to prevent another escape. What they did not realize was that a remarkable operation was already underway beneath their feet. On the evening of July 11th, El Chapo followed his normal routine. Security footage showed him walking around his prison cell before entering the shower area. This detail would become critically important. Inside the shower area was a small section that cameras could not directly observe. Privacy regulations prevented constant visual monitoring of that specific spot. As El Chapo entered the blind spot, he disappeared from view. At first, nothing seemed unusual, but when prison staff eventually checked his cell, he was gone. Authorities quickly reviewed surveillance footage and discovered the shocking truth. El Chapo had escaped through an opening in the floor of the shower area. Beneath the prison was a carefully constructed tunnel. This was not a crude passage dug with simple tools. It was an engineering project. The tunnel stretched for more than a kilometer beneath the ground. It was equipped with lighting systems, ventilation, and a rail system that allowed materials and workers to move efficiently through the underground passage. The dimensions were large enough for people to travel through comfortably. Engineers and construction workers had clearly been involved in its creation. The tunnel began inside a partially constructed building located outside the prison grounds. From there, it extended underground until it reached the exact location beneath El Chapo's cell. The level of precision was extraordinary. Those responsible had accurately calculated the position of the prison, the location of the shower area, and the depth required to avoid detection. Digging such a tunnel required months of planning, significant financial resources, and detailed knowledge of the prison's layout. When El Chapo entered the opening, he descended a ladder into the tunnel below. Once underground, he traveled through the passage toward the exit point. By the time authorities realized what had happened, he was already gone. The escape immediately triggered a massive investigation. Questions began emerging almost immediately. How could such a large tunnel be constructed without being detected? How did the builders know exactly where to dig? Did insiders provide information? Were prison officials involved? Investigators searched for answers while Mexican authorities launched a nationwide manhunt. The escape quickly became international news. Around the world, people watched as details of the tunnel emerged. Experts analyzed construction photographs and engineering plans. Many were astonished by the complexity of the operation. The tunnel was not something that could be built overnight. It required coordination, funding, technical expertise, and secrecy. For months, El Chapo remained a fugitive. Authorities conducted raids, gathered intelligence, and monitored potential associates. Eventually, after approximately 6 months on the run, Mexican security forces located him once again. This time, authorities were determined to ensure he could never escape again. Following legal proceedings, El Chapo was extradited to the United States, where he faced multiple criminal charges. He was eventually convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment. Today, he is held under extremely restrictive conditions in a high-security prison designed specifically to prevent escapes. Looking back, the 2015 escape remains one of the most remarkable prison breakouts in modern history. It demonstrated how planning, resources, and organization could overcome security measures that many believed were impossible to defeat. For prison officials, it was a lesson in the importance of vigilance. For investigators, it was an example of how determined criminal networks can operate on a massive scale. And for the rest of the world, it was a story that seemed almost impossible to believe. A man disappearing from one of the most secure prisons in Mexico through a tunnel hidden directly beneath his cell. Yet, that is exactly what happened.